coach, Ginny Bogus. Coach, welcome to March Madness. If you'd make an opening statement, and then we will start on Zoom with question from Steve.
Just want to say how excited and grateful we are to be here as a program and represent Monmouth University and the CAA on the biggest basketball stage. I hope that you guys get a chance to fall in love with these young women as much as everyone else in the league and around our community has, and we're excited to share our brand of basketball with you guys.
We will go to Zoom with a question from Steve.
Hey, Ginny. I'm just curious how your time, particularly at Marquette, preparing for a lot of big games, tournament games, quick turnarounds, unknown opponents, all that has kind of helped you in this process and kind of to know what to expect.
Absolutely. You'll hear us around Monmouth women's basketball often say preparation is separation. And so what we want is our players to be as confident as they can possibly be heading into this opportunity. And it's just the work. Again, clear communication with staff. I've talked openly about how incredible our assistant coaches and support staff have been throughout this. Our assistant coaches have also been at high levels, and we're prepared to just get to work. It's a big nod to get that next scout and to attack it, and we're a very competitive coaching staff, and so we take that part of it very seriously, but certainly drawing from past experiences and what went well and maybe didn't go so well, and trying to kind of maybe make those corrections. But we're willing to stay up all night, to get up super early, to do whatever we need to do to make sure this team has the best chance possible.
Steve, anything else for Coach? Great. We'll move to questions in the room. Please raise your hand and state your name and affiliation, please.
Thank you, Coach. Congratulations, Holly Warlick, ESPN. So go through your mindset of getting your team prepared for conference play.
Well, we were really grateful to be healthy, and I think that was a big thing. Again, you just heard from Ari and Bree and talking about that. But my mindset was one at a time. We have a little motto, 1 minute 40 times in a 40-minute game. And so we really wanted to stay true to that. We know how deep and how strong the CAA is, and we knew we were going to get our run for our money. So we just wanted to stay in the moment, be as prepared as we could possibly be. We did not look ahead at all past that first one. Versus Charleston, and then lucky to have just played Drexel 6 games before that. And then it got real. Going into that third one, that was probably the tightest we were. It was a little bit of wait a minute. Yeah. Can we do this? Are we supposed to be here? And we did a great job, I think, as a staff. I'll give credit to our strength coach, too, Bree Rubino, of tapering down and being ready for a big 4-game run. And so I asked them every morning and every night, how are your legs? And they were like, good, actually. I'm like, okay. And we're a deep team, and so again, we just wanted to do what we do. I think defensive philosophy comes into play when you get into these quick turnarounds and things like that, and being able to say, hey, this is how we've guarded this all year, and not have to, we don't get so lost in a scout that we mix so much up. So we know how we guard those handoffs. We know how we guard those slice and cross screens. We know how we want to guard the dribble drive. And so just being able to rely on that, and this is how we defend, I think was really helpful.
So describe to us what will we see tomorrow? What's your style? What do y'all hang your hat on?
Yeah, we want 5 willing and able passers and 5 willing and able scorers on the floor at any point on the offensive end. We want to get out and push. We would like to get an attempt or a piece of the paint in the first 8 seconds. That doesn't always happen, especially as the league got more and more used to seeing what we were trying to do. And then we want to flow into our offense. We really believe if we set and use screens that the ball will find the right shot. Again, we've got a really selfless team that gets excited for one another. You can see that when you watch them play. So you'll see a lot of juice, a lot of freedom, and hopefully a lot of confidence tomorrow. And then defensively, we try to protect the paint. Going into this league and joining the CAA, it was a big boost of athleticism and size. And so we knew that maybe we wouldn't have the speed or the size that some of the other teams, but we knew that we could rebound if we were tough enough. And so we've really keyed in on that. I think rebounding was a huge difference for us. I think we were plus 10 margin on the tournament. And so that was a big factor for us getting all the way to the ship. So we're excited to be able to hopefully control the boards a little bit tomorrow. We just want to be who we've been all year.
So kind of walk us through your journey as a head coach at Monmouth. I mean, why did you come there, and what was your vision for the program?
Yeah, I'm from a small town in Hamlin, West Virginia, and so community and connection for me personally are really important. I chose a small private school with small class sizes, and it's what was right for me and my educational experience. And so that's very easy for me to share with our prospects, and that's what Monmouth is. It's a smaller private institution. Our facilities are unbelievable. It's a great education. I think having leadership that exemplifies and reflects my core values is important. So that I can be myself and thrive. And so we have that at Monmouth from President Leahy and Mr. Stapleton, our athletic director. When you're a kid from West Virginia and you get to live at the beach, it's pretty cool. I've been at a couple stops, and so quality of life is a thing, but girls basketball at the Jersey Shore and in Jersey and in a 3-4 hour radius is very strong. Heard a podcast a few years ago now from the Golden State Warriors general manager, and he said you want to pick a place where the confusion is, why aren't they winning? Why wasn't Monmouth winning? Every other sport was winning. And I felt like maybe I had the leadership that could bring some success to the program. So it was a perfect fit top to bottom. I could go on, but really excited and fortunate to be there.
Brenda Van Langen, ESPN, you talked about the tapering with your strength coach, but, I mean, to have your best scoring day of the year on the fourth day and 4 games in 4 days, that's pretty impressive. So, besides having your legs in depth, what was it that allowed you to have that kind of performance in that championship game?
Against a very good defensive team. I really think, those of you that have been around the game like you guys have for a long time, our kids just got hot. They just got in that zone, and all credit to them. They started believing what we had been saying all year. And when the bucket gets big like that, I just try to stay out of the way, quite honestly. They were playing at a really high level. I've talked previously about, we were in starting, they were about to announce the starters. And I look over at Bree Tins, and you can see she's pretty iron steel. Never high, never low, woman of few words, and she's teary-eyed. And then Lovin Marsicano gets teary-eyed, and I'm like, 4 of our 5 starters are emotional right now. What is happening? But I took a second, and quite frankly, I got emotional in our little pregame prayer, and I realized it was just gratitude. Just gratitude for the moment and gratitude for one another, and for those 2 graduate seniors, gratitude for, a second chance. And I told them when we took our deep breath right before we started, I said, I know that's gratitude. A younger Jenny probably would have been like, why are you crying? Let's get it together. But we took a moment, and I just said, that's your gratitude. Go own it. Go live it. And then Ari Vanderhoop, the one that wasn't upset, just locked it in and turned it up and set the tone for us, really.
So you talked a lot about the injury side of it. Can you tell us, like, who was injured and when they came back?
How long you got, Coach? No, so probably the longest, most impactful injury was Lovin Marsicano. She broke a rib and was out for 6 conference games. We run a lot through our 4-player. It's a decision maker for us. She's a career 38% three-point shooter. Started out a little bit slowly at Monmouth on that front, but she rebounds for us well. Big defensively in our switches, and so that got us in the tailspin of rotations. We moved Casey Donovan, who's our starting 3, to the 4, and then brought Amaya Carroll in off the bench. To become a starter. We had Belle Cramble up at Northeastern dive on the floor for a loose ball, dislocated her shoulder. She was out for a few games. And then even when she was back, Belle Cramble, even when she was back, the first few games, not full strength, really not confident in being the paint protector that we know that she is. Then Jania Hall got a concussion, and then Amaya Carroll dislocated her shoulder. So it was just a domino. But you guys know every team in the country has battled that. And the only reason that we talk about that is because we weren't full strength. So I think we're a better team than maybe our record or where we placed in the league reflects. And again, that's sport, right? We're all beat up, we're all banged up, but we happen to get healthy and get hot at the right time. I might be forgetting one. Antonia Panaides has been a defensive 3-and-D kid for us all year long. She's got a bad ligament in one of her ankles. Jen Luro, 6-year senior, some days can barely walk with her knee. I mean, it's just this time of year, you get to that ship and nothing hurts. Just go play.
We'll go back to Zoom and Steve.
what is it about, your three bigs inside? They have worked so well together, and just have really dominated, as you said, in the paint.
Yeah, well, I want that to be an identity. I'm looking at Coach Warlick here. So, one of the toughest rebounding teams, Tennessee. But that's what I grew up watching, and that's what I grew up hearing. And I know this is hard to believe, but I wasn't the most talented kid out there. But you can rebound, you can work hard on the defensive end, and you can use, everything that you have. And so as we started looking ahead to the CAA, we knew that the league didn't have necessarily from the eye test the three-point shooting ability that we had, and we knew that was one thing. Maybe we couldn't get a ton of stops, but when we did, we had to clean it up and finish the play. And so we were able to really buy into the defensive end of rebounding, and then we can push our pace. People have pressed us this year, and I've kind of joked with our guards too. You don't want to be pressed. Get a stop. Get that board, and then let's go. And don't foul. So I think, Steve, just probably me harping on them. I'm big on the rebounding, and again, our staff just staying disciplined and dedicated to it. But when you see success from it, like Ari Vanderhoop has and our bigs have, they tend to want to replicate that game in and game out.
And does Tennessee Tech remind you of a CAA team, anyone in particular?
They're very talented. I even go way back to 8 years ago, those Marist teams that made those deep tournament runs, skilled, smart. They've got those two lead guards that very well could play in our league or above. And again, they got a very balanced attack. They press, they defend at a high level, they protect the paint really well. Just a smart, skilled, well-coached basketball team.
Terrific. Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, Steve.
Anything else from in the room? If not, thank you, Coach, and good luck in the tournament.
Thank you.